Hello again, whiskey enthusiasts. It's Brett, and I am way behind on getting my videos done for my reviews. It is now the 27th of December, and I've gotten a little sidelined with my holiday activities, but I'm back here, and what I'm going to review for you today is one that I actually received as a gift for Christmas, and this is the Deanston Virgin Oak Scotch. This is a non-age statement, 46.3%, non-chill filtered, no coloring added. This runs, depending on where you're at, somewhere around $35 or $40. It is a whiskey that is well within the reach of most drinkers. And I have tasted, as you can see, a couple of drinks out of this. And I waited after taking a couple of drinks before I reviewed this, and the reason why is because when I received it, some of my friends from around the country that also drink Scotch told me that after it has been opened for a few weeks, it gets much better. So I've had it open now for, I guess, about 3 weeks. And I've actually been told that still yet, if you wait longer, it just continues to get better as you go through the bottle. So you might want to try that. But let's get right to the tasting and see what it's done after 3 weeks open. The first impression that I get on the nose is of a spicy bread of some sort, almost like a coffee cake without any icing. There is some mild, gentle spices to it, like a nutmeg, and there's a sweet graininess below that that is very dense and desserty. There's some notes of apple, perhaps some pear, but I would stick more with the green apple. As you dig further, there's a little bit of vanilla. That probably lent itself to the bread sweetness that I was getting in the beginning. And there's just a hint of a nuttiness there, maybe a little bit of almond. People talk about, what's that almond paste? Marzipan is a paste that's used in confections, and I've had some of that, and there's a little bit of that in there. And that's what a lot of people, when they smell an almond or taste an almond flavor, that's what they refer to. So a marzipan is probably one of the things that I see there. It's very warm on the palate. I wouldn't exactly call it a burn, but it does have that warming effect almost immediately. That mixes with the spice. It is surprisingly spice forward in the palate, but it's not a very strong spice. It's a very gentle cinnamon and nutmeg sensation. The sweetness comes through then, and you get the grain underneath. I really want to chew on this. It really does have that dense feel of a dessert bread. And like I mentioned coffee cake earlier, it has a little bit of that because the spices fruit is very forward. I don't get nearly as much of the apple fruit in the palate as I did on the nose. Very, very little of the apple fruit on the actual palate. There is a pepper note that comes out about halfway through the palate. And the spice comes even farther forward. For a Speyside, this is decidedly less fruity and more spicy than you would typically expect. This is a good whiskey. Especially in its price range, there's a lot more complexity here than what you would expect. And there are a lot of flavors developed in it that you don't normally find in a cheaper whiskey, like the highly developed spices that blend with the grains. So, excuse me. I recommend this in its price range. I think it's really good. Let's see what the finish does for us. The spice note that's in the palate as you get further into the finish gets more oaky. And what carries on into a medium to medium long finish is definitely the wood and the wood spices. You can definitely tell the influence of the virgin oak with the heavy spice and the oak in the finish being very strong as it is. I forgot to look back at this. Yes, that's what I thought. I forgot to look back at this. This is all done in American oak. The virgin oak here is American oak. And that really stands out based on what I just tasted with the strong spice and very muted fruits. The spice all the way through stays fairly sweet, and I just think it's a pretty well-rounded bottle. If you are especially a new Scotch drinker and you're trying to stay under the $50, $55 range, which is, let's face it, on single malts is fairly hard to do, this is a go-to for me because you're going to get something here that in its price range nothing else offers. This is in the same price range as things like Monkey Shoulder. And you're not going to get this kind of spice in anything like a Monkey Shoulder. So in order to get this kind of spice, you're going to be spending over $60 a bottle. And so I think that in order to round out your profiles of what you're trying as you learn Scotch, this is exactly what you need to fill that little bill. So cheers to you all. I hope that was helpful, and thank you to the person who got this for me because I'm truthfully enjoying it.